All right, welcome to the Endgame community and others. I'm Pierre, and he is Chris. We are the Fantasy Football Endgame, here to help you win as always. And it is week 13, lucky week 13, of course. But that also means that the fantasy playoffs are almost here. Now, a little different this year because, instead of 17 weeks of the NFL season, there's 18 because there's 17 games. So a nice odd number for record as far as NFL teams. Might change things up in your fantasy league as far as when the playoffs start. But we've already heard, I don't know, Chris, it's not just me. Some of our Endgame community members are saying that their playoffs started this week or next week. And it all depends, right? There's a lot of weird things where you get like a first and a second round bye or a first early bye. Some people play in 16 team leagues. There's just craziness. But either way, you have to win this week, right? You want to go in strong, even if it's not yet your playoffs.
Yeah, unless you have one of the two buys locked up, then yeah, you definitely want to win because either A, you're fighting for the playoffs, or B, you're fighting for that bye, which we know is very important.
Absolutely. So we want to win every game, though, honestly. I mean, our goal really is to go undefeated. It never seems to happen. Injuries seem to kind of mess up even the best teams. So speaking of injuries, let's get to the injury report. Let's just start with every good running back. All right. So basically every running back that you might have drafted in the first couple of rounds, except for like two, which is like Jonathan Taylor and Najee Harris. Okay. But let's get to the actual running backs that are hurt. So these are officially declared out. You know about Dalvin Cook, going to be out definitely this week, probably next week. Hopefully not too much longer, but for sure this week, Dalvin Cook is out. Alexander Madison, we both love. He's a must-start running back. Hopefully you watched that video already. You can see who else is on that list. DeAndre Swift on the other side of that matchup, he's out, maybe going to miss another week too, but he's week to week. Jamal Williams, of course, not quite as strong a start, but still pretty good. But no Swift, get him out of your lineup. We know for sure now Melvin Gordon is going to miss. He has been ruled out for the game against the Chiefs. That is huge because it's a big matchup for them, but also we finally get to see Javonte Williams with the backfield to himself. And all dynasty owners are expecting him to get about 10,000 yards this week just because it's his backfield. You think that's a little high? You think he could do it, right?
I think he's definitely capable.
Yeah. If anybody could do it, it's him. But no Melvin Gordon. Very sad here. No Deebo Samuel. We'll see what happens next week. He keeps saying it's minor. Of course, it doesn't matter what he says. It matters what the doctors and the coaches say. But he's definitely out this week. Darren Waller also out. He's considered week to week, but no Waller. And then let's keep going. No Antonio Brown for at least 3 weeks now? And his is a very interesting thing. He wasn't going to be ready anyways because of the ankle, and this ankle injury has been lingering, but now it's kind of a double whammy. He's got this whole fake vaccine card thing going on. So are we going to see Antonio Brown back this season? Because it's a 3-game suspension, I think, but we don't know what his future is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess on the good side is he was going to miss 2 games at least with the ankle. So if he does come back, hopefully he's fully healed from that ankle. The big question here is, do the Buccaneers just release him now? Because Bruce Arians did say, he only gets one mess up, right? That's what they basically said. Like he screws up one time, he's gone. Let's see if he sticks to that. We'll see. Now, to be fair to Antonio Brown, him and his lawyers claim, and the other players claim, that they are vaccinated. So I don't know what the deal is with this. I don't know what maybe will come out down the road, but so I don't know. But who knows? So maybe he is vaccinated. Maybe it's not a fake vaccine. I mean, who knows? But the big thing is, do the Bucs keep him or not? Right? That's going to be the big thing. Because if they release him, I mean, what's the chances that a team picks him up? Maybe a team picks him up for Week 16, who's in the playoff hunt. But is he really going to be in the offense for the? You're probably not going to help you in the fantasy playoffs. That's for sure.
No, if he's released and then picked up by another team, forget it, because it's not going to be the same as Tom Brady, and it's not going to be a case where he just jumps in and produces. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. But it's interesting. We gotta see if he's worth holding on to for fantasy. That's the question: is do you release him in fantasy? Kind of like with the Calvin Ridley thing. We don't know when he's coming back. Calvin Ridley, of course, still out. Don't know if he's going to see the field again this year. But anyways, yeah, AB not going to be a league winner this year. Doesn't look like. Let's keep rolling. Guys who weren't going to anyways. JD McKissick is out because of that head injury last week. I think he might be back next week, but Antonio Gibson looking even stronger. Jordan Howard is out, and there's another Eagle of note that's out, but I'm saving him for last. Saving the best for last, as always. Don't worry, I didn't skip. Daniel Jones, sadly, is out. So bench your giant receivers twice. That's you already have them benched, hopefully. So now bench them even harder. Dan Arnold is still out, probably out the rest of the season. Justin Fields, no go. That means Andy Dalton is going to start against the Cardinals. Good luck there. And Allen Robinson's still out. So you're going to see a lot of Darnell Mooney catching passes from Andy Dalton, just like all Bears fans were hoping for. And last but not least, Jalen Hurts maybe is out. According to official reports, he is. And then very soon after unofficial. What's the deal there?
Well, I don't think either report was official. It wasn't the Eagles saying he was out. It was an NFL beat writer saying he was out. And then about 30 minutes later, Adam Schefter tweeted out, he may be out tomorrow, but the Eagles still want to see how he is pregame. So who knows? It's feeling like he's probably going to be out. It's the Jets. There's no reason to have him out there if he's not 100%. They can win with Gardner Minshew against. They can win with pretty much anybody against the Jets. So my guess is he won't be playing. So if you have Jalen Hurts, I would definitely be getting a backup plan ready right now.
It's very sad because it's such a great matchup for a running quarterback, especially. But
he was gonna have 100 yards and like 3 touchdowns in this game. Even if he didn't complete a pass, he was gonna have like 20 plus fantasy points. Even if he didn't complete a pass.
Just walking backwards, he could get 100 yards. And I mean, it's like Taysom Hill, right? Terrible passing the ball on Thursday, threw 4 interceptions. And I looked on my team, the one team I streamed him, I still got like 20 points. So it's like, okay. Anyways, no Jalen Hurts, probably. You can't take the chance. No. Like it's so like, oh, we're gonna wait and see how he feels. Like, no, he's not gonna play. We're just not gonna say he's not gonna play. To me, it kind of smelled like the Kyler Murray thing for 3 straight weeks, where they're like, yeah, maybe he'll play and he doesn't play. All right, so those are the outs. Speaking of Kyler Murray, questionable. DeAndre Hopkins, questionable. It's the same thing. The Cardinals just don't want to come forward and say what's going to happen. I think they're going to play because they've had enough time and a week off, so probably going to play. But again, you never know. So sadly, you're going to have to wait till the last second. To me, though, it's like Jalen Hurts, I'd keep him out. And if by some chance he does play, maybe you put him back in. With me, I think you can keep Murray in. And then if they roll him out, then you pivot. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. But hopefully I'm right on that. Daryl Henderson, questionable with that quad injury. Sony Michelle might get to work. Henderson, again, going to be a game time call. Great matchup, but he's not going to get his usual workload even if he does play. So be very careful with Henderson. I would probably keep him benched. James Robinson on the flip side there, also questionable and a very bad matchup for him. I already told you I don't like him. I have him as one of my busts. If you checked out that video, you'll know that. Brandon Cooks is also questionable. From what I heard, though, he sounded promising to play. Did I make that up, or is that true?
No, he did practice Friday. I think there's a lot of illnesses going around the NFL right now that aren't COVID, apparently.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what held like Lamar Jackson out a couple weeks ago, and it's non-COVID, so nothing.
But he did practice on Friday, so he's still listed as questionable, but it feels like he'll play.
And same thing with Boston Scott, non-COVID illness. He didn't practice. So I don't know if he's on the right side of questionable.
Yeah, this one, now this to me is a huge one to pay attention to, because we're looking at a potential Miles Sanders 20 carry game against the Jets. And because Boston Scott didn't practice all week, he has an illness, and they said today he's a game time decision, which means he's probably still sick, and they're going to hope he wakes up tomorrow and magically feels great. So, yeah, this is a big one we're going to have to monitor tomorrow, because this could really be huge news. With no Jalen Hurts and no Boston Scott, like Miles Sanders could get – it's just him and Kenneth Gainwell, who they obviously don't like for some reason. So he could get 20, 25 carries in this game against the Jets, which is – that's you can't sit that. You can't sit that, in my opinion. Can't sit him.
And no Jordan Howard for sure.
Yeah, no Jordan Howard.
Gainwell's just a pass catcher, so all the carries are going to go to Sanders. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also let's keep going here. Josh Jacobs is questionable. He's gotten some practice. I was going to say too, the Scott thing is he hadn't really practiced. Coaches don't like to put in guys who didn't practice basically all week, and they don't really have that trust issue. So that's the thing, with Scott. It's still risky even despite the matchup. Jacobs did get some practice in. Is that right? Limited practice?
Yeah, I mean, these guys, I feel like Jacobs is probably going to play. Like, I feel very confident.
I think so. Then different types of questionable, right? David Johnson, questionable in multiple ways. Odell Beckham is also very questionable. He's got a hip thing, and they keep waffling on him. I'm getting a bad vibe, but anyways, roll him out if you're feeling lucky, I guess, but hopefully not. Odell Beckham might be a game time call too. And then Corey Davis trying to work his way back. We'll see, but I don't like him anyways because he's probably going to get a lot of Darius Slay. So I think let's just go ahead and say don't start Corey Davis.
Unless your options are really bad.
Oh, you guys who are in. Miles Sanders, definitely want to start him if you can. Devontae Parker is back. Oh, yay. Curtis Samuel is going to play, but he's also questionable, I think. So anyways, he's going to play though.
So they made him and Ricky Seals-Jones, although I don't know if Ricky Seals-Jones matters much, are making the trip. Usually if guys make the trip, they're going to play. Like, they don't have guys make the trip if they're not going to play. So guess he's going to play. Still don't feel great about starting him yet. Hopefully he gets an expanded role this week, especially with J.D. McKissic out. Maybe he gets some of that, out of the backfield third down work. We'll see. But I'd like to see him get more of an expanded role before I can trust him.
Yeah, I don't think you can trust how many touches he'll get this week. Already mentioned Dalton, Mike Glennon replacing Daniel Jones and Gardner Minshew. All you Minshew lovers, Uncle Rico fans, you can fire him up in your super flex leagues if you dare. I mean, hey, it is the Jets. So,
I'm starting him in one super flex league where it's between him and Mike Glennon. I got Cam on a bye, so it's between him and Mike Glennon. I'm taking Minshew against the Jets.
I would take him over Glennon. Yeah, that's for sure. All right. That does it. Now, of course, if we have any breaking news during this broadcast, which has happened before, we'll fill you in as it comes. Let's go ahead and get started with the questions. Always have to say two things. That's number one. Thanks for watching. Number two, if you want to get your answer for sure, use the super chat feature. That'll skip you to the front of the line. Of course, always checking that. And so you can do that, but there's an even easier way. If you become a patron, check out the info in the description below for how to become a patron on Patreon. And in that case, then you can join us on Sunday mornings. We have a separate show just for patrons. We go in depth on everything, not just start sit, but trades, pickups, waiver wire, whatever. And we just have fun talking about football and non-football stuff too. It's a good time. All right. I think that does it. You ready to start?
I'm ready. Let's get into it.
All right.
So Dollar Bill says, "Sup, boys? What's up, Dollar Bill? You haven't been in our Discord or our chats too much lately. You're too busy. Get less busy." All right, QMO 87. Should I start Patrick Mahomes, seeing how he's done with good defenses? I mean, yes. Like, who would you start over Patrick Mahomes this week? Like Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, maybe. Trying to think who I would start over Patrick Mahomes this week.
I mean, Denver's not a bad defense. I mean, they've been pretty good lately, haven't they?
No, that's why he's asking. But I'm just trying to think, like, who would I start? Like, who would you start over if every QB was available to you on the waiver wire? Who would you start over Patrick? I'd probably start Lamar Jackson against the Steelers over him. I feel like Lamar Jackson's going to run for like 100 yards against them.
And I have him a little bit below Mahomes, to be honest. I would say Stafford because he's going against Jacksonville. And I kind of mentioned this earlier in the other video. It's one of those games where they're going to be the bully and they're just going to put up 50 points in Jacksonville just because they can, because they, let out their frustrations, so to speak. So I'd say Stafford I have higher this week. I think Brady against Atlanta. I'd like to say Kyler Murray if I knew he was playing for sure, but there's a lot of risk there. So probably not. Only other guy I can think of would be Jackson. Allen, normally you'd say Josh Allen, but good defense. And then there's supposed to be freezing weather and, people worried about the weather in that matchup too. So that's probably it.
Yeah, that's it. So probably you're going to start Mahomes if you have Mahomes because you probably don't have one of those other guys. All right, we got a super chat from Lucas Arns. Thank you. Start 2 between DeAndre Hopkins, Edwards-Helaire, who's also been dealing with illness, but I don't think he's listed as questionable. I think he's expected to play. Hunter Renfrow, Elijah Moore, PPR. Start 2 of those.
Right. So that is a tough one. You got some interesting choices, all good players. So Edwards-Helaire, I'm looking into, as of right now, it does say questionable with an illness, but he's just got like a stomach bug, so he should be fine. So I don't think we need to worry about that. We didn't list him because he's not really injured, right? And I think he'll be fine. Hopkins, I mean, let's just assume, obviously, if he doesn't play, you don't worry about it. That makes your decision easier. What's your gut feel on Hopkins? Because to me, if he plays and Kyler Murray plays, I think you have to play Hopkins.
Yeah, if he plays and Murray plays, you have to. My gut feel is he's not going to play because there was something that came out that said Cliff Kingsbury. I always have trouble saying his name, so you don't have to like correct me in the chat. The Cliff and the Kingsbury, I always try to throw an L in there. But anyways, I'm rambling. He sat down with DeAndre Hopkins and was like, look, we need you for the stretch run. We need you for the playoffs. So I have a feeling, like that was this week, apparently. So I have a feeling he's going to sit another game. I really do. I feel like they're just going to be like, you know what? We're good. We're in first place. We're winning. We got Kyler Murray back, probably. I really do feel like he's going to sit another game. I think if he plays, you got to play him and Renfrow. Those would be my 2 choices.
I love Renfrow. I put him as one of my must starts, right? Wide receiver. So I go Renfrow for sure. I've never been an Edwards-Helaire fan. Hopkins is just so frustrating, right? It's so frustrating. I mean, I want to say if he plays, you play him, but you're thinking he doesn't. So maybe that makes your choice easier.
Yeah, but if he plays, you play him. Like if he plays, I play him. If he plays, I play him. I'm just saying I feel like they're going to give him one more week. But I'm not an injury expert. I'm not like a beat writer. I'm not in tune with the team. I'm just going by like kind of what I've heard this week as far as like they're like, hey, let's just be extra careful. We're good. We don't need you. But maybe I'm wrong and he'll play. Like, so if he plays, you play him.
We never know. Okay, so if it's Murray and Hopkins both active, then it's Hopkins, Renfrow. If Hopkins sits, then it's Renfrow and
I'd probably go Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I think you can do it more because Moore, his time, I know we talk about Darius Slay all the time. He's probably going to get Corey Davis, but he's on the outside. Moore split his time between the slot and the outside. It's almost even, mostly the slot, but they got James Crowder playing the slot. I think you can feel good enough about Elijah Moore. Like I already said, I'm not a huge Edwards-Helaire fan. He's questionable going into the week. Daryl Williams is still there. I don't know that they'll be able to establish the run a lot. So, yeah, I'll agree with that.
All right, then Tyler Foley, super chat. What's up, Tyler? So now he's asking Carr over Josh Allen?
No, I don't think I'd go that.
That's too much.
we don't do to anything is overreact. I mean, do we think Josh Allen, like the Patriots are a good defense? They're not the number one lockdown defense. They're not going to,
Oh, that's the Bills.
Yeah.
so Josh Allen doesn't have to worry about it.
Exactly. It's not going to be a high scoring game, but Josh Allen, he can run in a touchdown and there you go. There's your fancy day. Derek Carr is fine this week, but no, I keep Josh Allen.
Definitely Josh Allen. I agree. All right. John Zavala, Battle of the Williams, Jamal Williams or Javonte Williams, PPR?
We had this question on the Discord by somebody else, I think. I think now it has to be Javonte Williams. Yeah. I mean, good chance Jamal Williams, even though he has the backfield to himself, probably won't get 10,000 yards like Javonte. So I'm going to stick with Javonte.
Yeah, I like Javonte too. I mean, I'm probably not as high on Javonte as everybody else because the Chiefs defense has actually been better the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Right.
And we know Jamal Williams is probably going to get 8 catches for 20 yards because Jared Goff will dump it off a ton, but still, you got to give me Javonte. He's just too good. All right, MC Fire 12-14. Elijah Moore. Okay, Elijah Moore, Daryl Henderson if he plays, or Sony Michelle if Daryl Henderson doesn't play. So I guess basically it comes down to if Daryl Henderson plays, you can't play Michelle, right? You can't.
Right.
So then you got to play. I think would you play Elijah Moore over Daryl Henderson if Daryl Henderson plays?
I think despite the matchup, if Henderson plays, I think he's going to still be limited.
Yeah, that's what I worry
This team
about.
hasn't really been, relying on the run, and you think they would in a game like this. But again, that's not the feeling I'm getting, especially he's been banged up. So I would say if Henderson doesn't play, like he's ruled completely out, you play Michelle. But if he does play, then I would just go more.
Yeah, I actually agree with that as well. I think if he plays, I'm terrified to start him, so I'd probably just go more. All right, would you start Josh Knox? Would you start Brandon Cooks, DeAndre Hopkins, Van Jefferson, or Elijah Moore in full PPR?
All interesting options. I'm gonna probably have to still say if Hopkins plays, you play him.
Yeah.
If not, I kind of think I like Van Jefferson the next best because I don't think Odell Beckham is going to play. And if he does play, he'll be limited. So again, this is me thinking, game script. I feel like the Rams are just going to pass a lot in this game.
I knew you were going to say Van Jefferson. This is close for me between Van Jefferson and Cooks. Again, I agree with you. If Hopkins plays, you play Hopkins. You put him in your lineup, you don't think about it. You just put him in your lineup. And I do agree that I like Van Jefferson more than Odell this week, even if Odell plays. He's got a hip issue. Van Jefferson's been there all year. Can I start him over Brandon Cooks against Indy, who hasn't been great against the pass?
No, Colts give up a lot of points fantasy-wise to wide receivers. We know that's
So
that's where they can be exposed. The thing with Cooks, look, it's close. It's really close to me. I don't hate Cooks this week. I think last week I was saying he's a must start like every week, but he missed some practice too, and he's questionable.
That was with
mentioned, so
that was with an illness, and
he just might not be his full self.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I guess it comes down to: do you want the number one option on the Texans attached to Tyrod Taylor, or the number two option on the Rams attached to Matt Stafford?
I mean, when you put it that way, it's pretty.
It's really close for me. Let's just hope Hopkins plays, and you can just play Hopkins and not have to make that decision. That's what I'm gonna say, because that's really tough for me. Like, that's one of those where it could go either way. Honestly, I can see it going either way. All right, Anthony Gonzalez, Goddard. Can we play Goddard without Hurts now? Freiermuth or Logan Thomas?
That's the thing with Goddard, because now we know Hurts isn't playing. Gardner Minshew. We're not going to say, oh, he throws to this or that. Like, he's a completely new team, right? He's not throwing to anybody on the Eagles, and so he doesn't like anybody, right? We don't know who he's going to prefer to throw to. And they're not going to have to throw a ton anyways, are they, against the Jets? I don't.
No, I really think it's going to be kind of like that Lions game. If you remember back then when Jalen Hurts only threw the ball 15 times or whatever it was, but he ran for like 100 yards. Except instead of Jalen Hurts, it's going to be Miles Sanders and maybe Kenneth Gainwell and maybe Boston Scott if he plays. Yeah, I just don't think they're going to throw a lot.
I have Freiermuth the highest of those three because Baltimore has been giving up some points to the tight end. We've seen Freiermuth get involved. He can definitely score for you. He got 6 touchdowns already in the year, if you can believe it. So I go Freiermuth.
I agree. I was looking at this today. Since week 6, he's the tight end 4. Mm-hmm. Tight end 4. So I go with him as well.
And 5 of those touchdowns have come since week 8 in the past 5 games. So yeah. There you go.
Well, and especially with Ebron out now, it's like it's just him running the route. So, all right, Ronald Caller, what's up? Saquon Barkley or Jamal Williams?
Here we go. Okay, so how down am I on Barkley? Because I am down on him. I mean, do you think Mike Glennon being there helps Saquon Barkley in any way? I don't think it does, because it's not like Daniel Jones runs so much that it takes away from the running backs. It doesn't, and it's not like we expect him to move the offense more. I said this is a bad matchup. He's not getting used enough. I think the floor is with Jamal Williams. So unless you need a home run play, like if you really need, that upside because you're down or something, if you're, the underdog, you can try Barkley. But honestly, Jamal Williams is the safer play.
I can't do it. I got to go with Barkley. I know he's struggled. I will say this about Barkley, and I could be wrong on this, but in weeks 1 and 2, he was on the injury report. Then in week 3, he was not on the injury report at all. Wasn't limited all week. It was a full practice all week, and he beasted out weeks 3 and week 4. And then, of course, he stepped on that foot in like the first play of the first game, or the 5th game. This week, for the first time since he came back from the ankle injury, full practices all week, no injury report. I think he's 100% healthy. I know it's not the greatest matchup, but I think they finally lean on him. It's Mike Glennon. I think they're going to be like, screw it. Let's give Saquon Barkley 25 touches and hopefully he can carry it. I mean, Jamal Williams, like he's on the Lions. Yeah, he'll get a bunch of dump offs, but won't Mike Glennon dump it off too? Mike Glennon, like, is he going to chuck it down the field? He's probably going to dump it off a bunch too, right? So
that's not his MO, generally speaking. So yeah. I mean, there is a floor, at least in PPR with Barkley, because he'll catch a few passes. We know that. That would be the only thing is if, because I feel like it's pretty easy to figure out how to stop the Giants offense. I mean, not that it needs stopping, but it's like, hey, let's not let Barkley go crazy. Who do you have to cover down the field? Like, which receiver are you worried about? Like, none of the receivers.
Can you say the same thing about the Lions? you just let Jared Goff throw it 30 times and you probably win, right?
That's a fair point. But Jamal Williams, because they don't even try to pass the ball that much. Like, they're just going to give it to Jamal Williams at least 15, 20 times in the ground. And the Giants haven't been doing that. They should be, but
I think they do this week. That's the thing. I think they do this week. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, if they go out there and let Mike Glennon throw the ball 25, 30 times, then we just got to give up all hope on the Giants because it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm there. I'm almost there.
All right, Joel Rogers, T.Y. Hilton or Josh Reynolds in full PPR?
All right. I was glad somebody gave me a chance to say, go Josh Reynolds, because, and this, Chris, for how many years, every year he was with the Rams, I was like, yeah, it's Josh Reynolds. He's not going to do anything. It was, oh, this is the week, Woods is banged up. Like, no, it's Josh Reynolds. And it was pretty much never wrong. But now it's different because the Lions literally have nobody else to throw to. Like, they will throw to him, and he's been the leading receiver, right, leading target the last 2 weeks. I mean, Minnesota's defense is bad enough, their secondary is bad enough that he could hit one of those deep passes. So I'm going Reynolds.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Reynolds for me. Cough, Saquon or David Montgomery standard scoring?
Well, standard scoring, that removes the floor for Barkley. Montgomery doesn't have a super high floor in this matchup, though, because
I was going to say, what kind of floor does Montgomery have?
Well, he doesn't, not in this matchup. Here's the thing. If Kyler Murray doesn't play, if he doesn't play, if Hopkins doesn't play, I think Montgomery is in a better spot than I would go Montgomery. But yeah, in this case, I'd probably just shoot for the upside and go with Barkley because you're not getting a floor from either guy.
Yeah, this is actually easily Barkley for me. I mean, Montgomery's like the epitome of touchdown dependent right now. And in that offense, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. All right, Mike Abbott, Kendrick Bourne. Okay, let's test your Josh Reynolds. Kendrick Bourne or Josh Reynolds, half PPR?
I think as much as we were talking to Bourne last week, we have to back off of him. We know this going against the top-ranked defense. The weather's going to be bad. Bourne has been good, but on occasion, he's been boom or bust still, like almost every receiver, right? It's not like he's been so consistent. So I think you got to go Reynolds. You're going to take a gamble on a big game. I feel like there's a better chance for Reynolds because of the matchup. You want to go against the number one defense? You want to go against the second worst pass defense?
Yeah, I go with Reynolds as well. And we got a super chat from Terry R. First one's a kicker one, so I'll let you handle it. T-Bass or Carlson?
Not just the weather, because that's going to be a factor as we keep talking about, but Carlson, he's been prone to games where he gets 5 field goals, 4 field goals. Going against Washington, this should be a good spot for the offense there. So I go Carlson.
All right. And then Hopkins or Elijah Moore in half PPR?
Same thing. If he plays, Hopkins.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play, obviously it's more.
Exactly. All right, Tyler Foley, another super chat. What's up with Metcalf? Well, Russell Wilson looks terrible right now. That's what's up with Metcalf. So he's asking Metcalf, Ayuk, or Bateman?
Well, to me, it's definitely Ayuk. And you know what?
Ooh, even over Metcalf.
Over Metcalf, I have Ayuk as a must start. I have Metcalf as a bust. I think he's going to keep busting. And it's easy to say, oh, look, he did nothing last week or the 2 weeks. This is a pattern. This is every game since Russ has come back. his targets are going down. And here's what you have to be kind of cautious about. The offensive coordinator, I think, came out and said, yeah, we need to get him involved. That's a red flag. When they say we need to get involved, that means they know it's happening, right? And they're like, yeah, don't worry. They already know. Okay. So it's not like they're all of a sudden saying, hey, let's not call plays where Metcalf gets. No, Russell Wilson is consciously choosing not to throw it to him. Now, I love conspiracy theories, Chris. So
here we go. I got it.
We talked about this also in the chat, right? The whole OnlyFans thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, it could be. I don't know if I could personally go. I love Ayuk's matchup this week. No Debo. But I just feel like that huge Metcalf game is coming. Like they're just going to force feed Metcalf. They're going to throw screens. They're going to do whatever they got to do to get him going. I mean, I guess Ayuk is safer, but I don't know if I could do it, me personally. But
I'll do it.
Okay. All right,
look, I could be wrong. There will be a game he'll blow up.
Yeah.
Probably. I just don't know if it's this week. And the Niners, that's a tough matchup too.
Yeah, my worry with Ayuk is that they just that the Niners just run the ball 30 times.
True.
So, all right, another one from Terry R. Freiermuth, Ertz, or Logan Thomas. He could drop one of those guys. Well, we already said Freiermuth ahead of Logan Thomas. So do you have him ahead of Ertz as well?
Yeah, not ever going to be. Ertz will have a game once in a while like he did, the 2-touchdown game, but I'm not going to put him ahead of any of those guys.
Yeah, I agree. Freiermuth. And then Tyler Foley, Freiermuth, Thomas, or Dawson Knox. I'm pretty sure you're on Freiermuth here too because you had Dawson Knox as a bust.
Yeah, this week off of Knox. And again, this has nothing even to do with the snow or whatever's going to happen, freezing conditions. It's really a bad matchup for him.
All right, super chat from Dion Clark. Start 3. Lockett, Ayuk, Hopkins, Terry McLaurin. I'm going to say not Devontae Parker out of that group. You agree?
Yeah, definitely not Devontae Parker. Okay. So of those 4, I mean, you got some quality receivers there. I think in this case, you can play it safe and bench Hopkins because the other 3 are, high upside guys that could all outscore him even if he does play.
See, again, I can't.
Because if you play Hopkins and you're leaving Ayuk on the bench when he could have a nice game against Seattle, you're leaving Terry on the bench. I can't do, you know what I mean?
I'm probably leaving Lockett on the bench, honestly. I know Russ has been targeting him, but I mean, what's like the Seahawks barely run any snaps. They barely run any plays. He's actually really been targeting Gerald Everett. That's the guy he's really been targeting for some reason. Gerald Everett must do Bible study together or something. But I don't know. That's what I would do. I just cannot bench Hopkins if he plays, personally. I just can't. He's just too good.
Yeah. With Lockett, the thing is, no, he's not getting a ton of targets just because, it's systematic problems for Seattle. It's offensive line, the running game. It's Russ. It's everything. But Lockett still came up with 16 yards last week. I mean, he's the guy who doesn't need volume. He can make his day for fantasy in one big play, and he's been doing it. So that's the thing. I feel like you could still get away with Lockett having a big game, even if Seattle continues to be terrible. So, but yeah, I could get that. I can get putting Hopkins over Lockett. That would be the one guy if you are going to bench one. But again, to me, I guess it depends. I don't know. I hate to see Hopkins go out there and then he's limited, right? Or he's used kind of as a decoy. But you'd think they wouldn't play him if that was the case, right?
Exactly.
The other thing is the Bears. Like, how much are they going to need to pass?
Well, true. But they still might pass more than the Seahawks, just because the Seahawks barely run any plays. All right, another I missed all these super chat guys, so I'm trying to catch up. Fam first, Ertz or Fabian Moreau? PPR.
The island of Foster Moreau.
Yeah, Foster Moreau. I said Fabian Moreau.
Foster Moreau. Fabian. Wrong Moreau.
Wrong Moreau.
Who would have thought? I do have Ertz a little bit higher. Moreau, I mean, he could catch a touchdown, but that's it. Like, that's all he's going to get you. And Ertz could catch a touchdown too. I would think maybe if Hopkins doesn't play, that does help Ertz. But again, if Murray doesn't play, well, that hurts Ertz. So I would say if Murray sits, then I maybe would go Moreau, but Ertz is still probably a better option.
Yeah, I think I take Ertz either way. Yeah. All right, Alan Smithy, Super Chat, non-PPR, Devonta Smith or Van Jefferson?
It's hard for me to bench Devonta Smith, and even if it's Minshew playing, I mean, he can pass the ball, right? Devonta Smith always has that big playability. They don't have anybody else to throw to. Like, they don't have any other receivers that are getting regular steady targets. We say that,
but then Devonta Smith doesn't get targeted last week. What do you got, like 2 targets?
Last week, because the whole offense was just inept.
No, that's true. But what I mean is, like, he just, I don't know. This is my problem with Devonta. It's not a problem. It's not an issue with Devonta Smith. It's, like you said, it's an issue with the offense. We'll have games like last week where they're driving and the ball never goes to Devonta Smith. They're trying to come back and win. The ball never goes to Devonta Smith. So I like Devonta Smith. I think he's going to be a great player, but I always worry about that. And again, like I said, I worry about that they just they're just, it's like that Lions game. They're up big. They're winning. The Jets can't move the ball. They're just handing the ball off. And look, Miles Sanders 2 weeks ago ran for almost 6 yards a carry against the Saints, who are the best run defense by far in the NFL, and then had 64 yards on his 9 carries last week before he left with an ankle injury. Like, he's a guy they could be handing off to him, and he's picking up 8, 9, 10 yards every time he's touching the ball because it's the Jets. So that's my worry with Smith, is that they just, I mean, Minshew will target him, but how many times is he going to throw the ball?
Yeah, the thing is with that offense is like, okay, maybe they only have 20 pass attempts, which has been basically Hurts' average, right? The last few weeks, he's throwing it like 19.3 times per game, which is not a lot. But if he's throwing it 20 times, 7 or 8 of those are going to Devonta Smith for sure. Because again, there's not anybody else who's getting targeted. You know, Goddard will get 5, maybe. Quez Watkins gets like 3, and then Jalen Reagor shouldn't get targeted ever again after that drop where he lost basically the game-winning touchdown. But anyways, I don't know. I'm still a Devonta Smith believer. I think with Minshew, again, more of the pocket passer, he'll be able to find Devonta Smith. The Jets, I know they're terrible, but it's not like, I don't expect this necessarily to be a Eagles, winning by 30 points game, because the Eagles aren't one of those teams that beat anybody by 30 points. You know what I mean?
People said that against them. People were picking the Lions to beat them that week, and then they went out and beat them by 30. Like, bad teams are bad teams. Like, bad teams are bad teams, and
hey, they're still bad. Like, trust me, I'm not in any way saying the Jets are not bad, but I just don't think the Eagles are the type of team that is going to steamroll over them. They might, but I think Devonta Smith is still a good enough pick. Look, I have nothing against Van Jefferson. I love him this week. But I don't know. I can't drop Devonta Smith too low. I feel like he's still always got that ability, and this is a squeaky wheel. It might be a squeaky wheel situation. Like, when a guy gets kind of phased out or has a bad game, it could continue, right? Could be a reason for it, or it could be a bounce back the next week. I kind of feel, because I was reading some things about him, being really upset that he didn't get targeted that final drive, right? It was like, why are you throwing Jalen Reagor? Nothing against him personally, but he was like, I wanted the ball. And so I think that they might give him more shots this week.
Maybe he gets maybe Gardner Minshew. That's the other thing. We don't really know with Gardner Minshew how these targets are going to. I don't know. I like Van Jefferson this week, but I get it if you want to play Smith. I don't think it's a huge difference to me personally. All right, then Ash Rodriguez, Super Chat. Josh Reynolds, man, a lot of Josh Reynolds questions. Josh Reynolds, Tim Patrick, or Marvin Jones, half PPR?
Oh, that's my fault, because I mentioned him in the Boom video, right? I can't like Tim Patrick this week. The Chiefs secondary is actually pretty good. I'm gonna go with Josh Reynolds still. Let's keep my pick.
Yeah, I like Josh Reynolds out of that group. Adolfo Rangel, Super Chat, $555 entry. Nice. Who would be your stack if you made one lineup? Swim with the Sharks. Who would you stack if you only made one lineup?
Yeah, no pressure there, huh?
There's a lot of stacks I like this week, but if I wasn't...
Well, we do. Let me shameless plug here for Underdog, because as you see, they're one of our sponsors, and we play the over-unders, the rivals, and we make, drafts. We just drafted on Thursday. Or was it Thursday?
Yeah.
And so talk about your well, I don't know if you want to give away your strategy, but you're talking about your super stack strategy.
Well, I went with Lamar and Mark Andrews in that one, but I think I like even better Tom Brady and Chris Godwin. If you're not worried about ownership percentage, because I think that might be a highly owned stack, I really like that stack this week against the Falcons. I mean, it's the Falcons. And you got to think AJ Terrell is probably going to be on Mike Evans more than Chris Godwin, probably a lot more than Chris Godwin, and no AB. So I kind of really like the Brady Godwin stack this week. I think that would be my stack.
Actually, that's what I would say too. There's not a lot of quarterbacks who I have super high putting up big point totals this week. We mentioned this, the very first question, I think, of our show tonight was kind of like with Mahomes, who would you put over him? After the top 5, there's really a drop because Josh Allen, we're not expecting big numbers from him. Herbert going on the road to Cincy. That's, believe it or not, a tough defense. Kirk Cousins, maybe. I don't know if you want Kirk Cousins in your big money stack, though. Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson could be a big payout there, and that's less owned. But man, are you going to pick them over like Brady Godwin? Or I know a lot of people will be on Stafford Cup. That seems a little too obvious, though. So I would go Brady Godwin.
Yeah, I do like Cousins Jefferson if you want maybe a stack that probably won't have as high exposure. They're in a great spot this week. So, all right, Alex Watts, Super Chat PPR needs 2 wide receivers between Sutton, Galladay, and Reynolds. Yikes.
Man. I'm not starting Galladay. I'm just not.
No, especially not with Mike Glennon. So I don't love Sutton. I mean, I like Reynolds. Probably like Reynolds the best out of that bunch, and maybe Sutton. Okay, the Chiefs are going to be down their top corner, so that does help a little bit. Maybe Sutton can always hit that big play. So yeah, I agree. Not starting Galladay with.
Well, there's something to be said too with Gordon out. Javonte Williams probably not going to get 25, 30 carries. They might have to pass the ball more. And of course, if they're negative game script, which everyone thinks they might be at some point, might pass the ball more anyways. And the Broncos will lean to the pass when they're down by 10 or more points. So Sutton could have a sneaky good game here. I wouldn't count on it, but I think Sutton's solid. Galladay is going to get Xavier Howard, even if he had Daniel Jones. I don't know that would make a big difference, but I'm not starting Galladay.
Yeah. And then Odin 2112 Super Chat. Thank you. Kyle Pitts or Logan Thomas, full PPR.
So hard to trust Pitts or any Falcons these days. I still think I'm going to go with Pitts because Thomas has still kind of been bothered by that hamstring. Like he's not 100%. That offense is so inconsistent too. We haven't seen Logan Thomas really do anything yet since coming back. It's not like he's coming off a good game. So I'm going to back off Logan Thomas for another week.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing about Logan Thomas can catch a touchdown and get you 11, 12 points. Maybe Kyle Pitts only gets you 5 or 6 points. But Kyle Pitts can get you 20 plus. I don't think Logan Thomas can get you 20 plus. So I would just chase the upside with Kyle Pitts. One of these weeks, it's got to happen. Again, I guess it happened for like 2 weeks, and then that was it.
Well, that's the thing. He has done it, right?
It's been
a while, but he has done it. And against Tampa Bay, you figure they're going to pass a lot.
Yeah.
So it's within the realm of possibility.
All right. I think we did that one. Okay, Josh Knox, Dallas Goedert or Jared Cook, full PPR.
That case, I'm going to go with Goddard. I mean, Cook is just his usage is so inconsistent. Sometimes we'll see Parham or Steven Anderson targeted, which is really frustrating. But Goddard's the only show in town basically there at tight end.
Yeah, and Cook absolutely needs a touchdown, and then even then, might not get you anything else. All right, Chavez girls, Javonte Williams or Stephon Diggs in the flex.
Man, can you bench Diggs?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, he says he has Chase and Jefferson as his wide receivers. If it was me, I'm playing Diggs, Jefferson, and Javonte. That's what I'm doing.
There you go. I'm glad you mentioned that because, I have Chase as a bust this week and maybe proven wrong. He could always go for a 50-yard touchdown, right? I get that, but it's not happening every week. And it hasn't happened now for 4 straight weeks. He's gotten a short touchdown twice, but he's getting phased out a little bit in terms of, just overall usage because Joe Mixon's been so good. So you're right. I would bench Chase.
And we're starting to see Diggs look like the Diggs we all drafted the last 4 or 5 games. Like he's back to being that like every week stud. Never know. I think this is a pretty easy one, but PPR running back 2, Miles Sanders or Devin Singletary.
That's an easy one. It's got to be Miles Sanders. There's no reason to have interest in Singletary.
I have a sneaky start. Sneaky start.
All right, there's one reason.
If you're desperate,
I'm more a Matt Breida guy, which I'm surprised you're a Matt Breida guy.
Well, I'm a Matt Breida guy too, but it was like in the first quarter, it was like, oh my God, it's the Matt Breida show. And then the rest of the game, it was like, oh, it's all Devin Singletary. And people were commenting like, oh, it was garbage time. No, it wasn't garbage time. It was not. Because I remember at the end of the first quarter, I put it in our Discord, like the snap count, and Matt Breida was dominating the snap count. I was like, yeah, it's Breida time. And then at halftime, they were like even. They were already even. And then in the second half, it was like almost all Singletary. So no, it wasn't garbage time. So if you commented that, well, don't go delete your comment. Just maybe right under there, like, okay, you were right. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. I'm not petty like that. Well, how about Lee? Which 2 do I start? Terry McLaurin, DeAndre Hopkins, or Jamar Chase in PPR?
Follow up with the same thing we just said. If Hopkins plays, you play him and Terry, and you sit Chase.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, if Hopkins sits, your decision is made. Daniel Osorio, great job, guys. Thank you. Cole Kmet or Hunter Henry?
It's close. That one's close. I mean, Henry would seem like the better pick, but Kmet's been coming on lately. With Dalton there, they're going to do more just traditional pocket passing. It might, be more of a game. Well, of course, if Arizona's up, Chicago's going to have to pass. Henry going against the Bills, I mean, he's going to be basically touchdown dependent. So I think you have a better chance for a touchdown with Henry, but you have a better chance for catches with Kmet. So if it's full PPR, going to give the edge to Kmet.
Yeah, I agree. Henry's completely touchdown dependent. I mean, even those weeks where he's getting 2 touchdowns, he's only catching like 3 or 4 passes. He's like Dawson Knox. So I would just go with Kmet as well. Stanley Krupinski, PPR league. Do I start Hurts? I mean, only if he plays. If he doesn't play, you don't.
Okay, so maybe we'll ask it this way. If he plays, are you going to play him no matter what? No questions asked, knowing that he could be limited.
Yes, because I don't think they're going to play him if they think he's going to be limited. So
true.
It's a Jets. It's a Jets. Like a 85% Jalen Hurts can still run for like 85 yards against him. So yes.
Yeah, they wouldn't put him out there if he's just going to like stand around and not move. I mean,
yeah, they could just put Gardner Minshew out there to do that. Although Gardner Minshew can move when he needs to, but he's not really like Jalen Hurts, right? He's going to run because he has to, not because he like can.
Yeah.
Luke Deinzer, apologies if I mispronounced that. I'm sure I did. Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, Antonio Gibson, Alexander. What is this? A 4-team league? Alexander Madison, Javonte Williams, Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, Myles Gaskin. Start 5. Okay, well, not Myles Gaskin, right?
I would say bench. Wait, how many were there? Was it 8 total or 7?
I don't know. Okay, Keenan Allen must start, right?
Yes.
Deontay Johnson must start.
Yes.
Alexander Madison must start.
Gibson must start.
Yeah, Gibson must start. So now it comes down to Javonte Williams, Jamar Chase, or Saquon Barkley for his last one.
Javonte Williams.
Ooh, over Saquon.
For me.
So that's where it gets really close for me. I do have a little worry about Javonte. Like, we're not going to see, like, it's ready. He's going to be unleashed, and then it's going to be like a 50-50 with Mike Boone or something, where they're going to be losing.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't shock me. But no, and it's not just because I think Javonte Williams is going to run for 10,000 yards, but also I'm down on Barkley, down on Chase. Williams is he is involved as a pass catcher too. And that's the thing. He's not one of these guys who, they're going to bring in somebody every time there's third down or passing situation. He'll still get a couple of catches. Yeah.
Tyler Foley, super chat. It's not really a start sit question. We can do it real quick. Who goes all the way in Super Bowl 56? I'm going to say Packers.
Oh, we're making Super Bowl picks now?
Real quick. Who wins Super Bowl?
Man, I wasn't ready for that.
I wasn't either, but Packers defense actually looks really good, way improved. We know they got Aaron Rodgers, which that's good enough to win a Super Bowl, so I'm going to say Packers.
I kind of feel like the Cardinals have what it takes. I mean, we haven't seen their offense really full for the last 3 weeks. They're still 9-2. They lost, because they haven't had Kyler, but they have a defense. That's the thing too. They have a pass rush, Chandler Jones. They have good players in the secondary. I think they have kind of a well-rounded team, and they have a running back who can be physical with James Conner now. They're going to get Edmonds back, where he's been gone for the last couple of weeks. So I like the Cardinals, but also because, the Packers like to choke in the NFC Championship game, and the Rams just like to choke. So
there you go. All right, Landon Wheeler, battle of sick running back, CEH or Boston Scott?
I mean, if Boston Scott plays, I kind of feel like you have to play him, but we're thinking he's not.
But here's my worry with Boston Scott. And we both said he was a must start on our start sit video, but that was before he missed a whole week of practice with the illness and is still at this moment a game time decision. That to me makes me think he's still sick. So even if he wakes up tomorrow and is like, yeah, I can play, like, what is he like? Is it going to be an Amari Cooper thing where he's only out there when they really need him? Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, Miles Sanders is like, I'm about to have a heart attack. I need a break. Okay, get out there, Boston Scott, and give him a rest. Like, that's what I worry about with him. Obviously, if he was healthy and it was practicing all week, I would for sure say Boston Scott because it's the Jets. But that makes me a little nervous. So I think I would just go with CEH and play it safer.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he's not going to play. And if he does play, it will be a last-second thing. So you probably should just put CEH in there.
Yeah. All right, Joshua Maestas. Apologies if I mispronounced that. Sit one. I think this is supposed to be Michelle. It says S. Mitchell. So is that Sony Michelle or Elijah Mitchell? I'm not sure. It's like Sony Mitchell. Devonta Smith. I'm going to assume, I don't know. I really don't know. Do you think S. Mitchell, do you think he meant to hit the E? It is right by the S. Do you think he meant to hit the E?
Probably.
Okay, let's go with Elijah Mitchell.
I'm guessing it was S. I'm guessing it's Sony Michelle.
But the E and the S, so you put S period Mitchell.
It's Mitchell, like fully spelled.
Yeah, like he fully spelled out Mitchell. So I'm gonna guess it was he meant the E and he hit the he fat fingered.
Well, if it's Elijah Mitchell, you have to start him. So
yeah. So who do you sit? Well, who do you sit then? You got to sit one between Devonta Smith, James Robinson, or David Montgomery in full PPR.
Between Devonta Smith, James Robinson, and David Montgomery?
Yeah, you have to sit one.
It's probably not the way you're going to go, but I'm sitting James Robinson.
It's close between James Robinson and Montgomery. What's
I know Montgomery, you're like, but the same thing with Robinson. I mean, is he really going to score against the Rams? Is he going to get the ball a ton? Probably not. They're going to get stomped.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the difference between them right now? Bad offense.
Bears can keep it competitive, I think.
Bad offenses. Both get the bulk of their team's touches for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, Bears are definitely less bad than the Jaguars.
I don't know if I'd say definitely, but they are less bad. But they are less bad. I don't know about definitely, but they are less bad. I mean, they needed a last-second field goal to beat the Lions. Like that, I don't know about definitely, but they are less bad. So I'll say sit J-Rob as well. Plus J-Rob dealing with like some kind of knee issue, so at least Montgomery's healthy.
Right. All
right, Super Chat, Eduardo M. Ronald Jones or Stevenson?
You can't start Ronald Jones. No.
I think, he goes Stevenson. At least the last time we saw him, he's still splitting work with Harris. Will that continue? We don't know, but at least it's there. Ronald Jones is only coming in like when Leonard Fournette needs a breather. So,
I guess you could say because Jones is he's got a touchdown 2 weeks in a row, and if they're up big against Atlanta, he'll come in again, get some. But that's very, very, very iffy, right? You're really depending on the game script panning out that way. Stevenson will get his carries regardless. You could see Jones get 1 or 2 carries or nothing. That's the thing. So, Stevenson at least sometimes is used at the goal line, right? He could be the goal line hammer.
And then Sony Michelle, is he a start if Henderson plays?
He's a solid starter. I put him at the mid-range RB2.
If Henderson plays.
Oh, if Henderson does play,
Yeah.
more of a flex, but I still think he's playable.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends who else you got.
I mean, I might play him over Stevenson because at least there's a chance. Like, we know Harris is healthy and we know Harris is good. There's a chance if even if Henderson plays, maybe he goes out there and like in a series or two, he's like, nah, I can't do it. And then you get almost a full game of Michelle. Whereas you're not getting a full game of Stevenson unless Harris gets hurt during the game, which you can't bank on. Same with Ronald Jones. You're not getting a full game of Ronald Jones unless Fournette gets hurt, but you can't bank on. So I might just, out of those three, I might just risk it with Michelle and hope that either Henderson's not effective and they just say, don't worry about it, sit down, we're just going to roll with Michelle, or that he gives it a go and it doesn't really work. So that's what I would do out of those three. All right, John Zavala, Jerry Judy, Chase Claypool, Christian Kirk, or Russell Gage. Needs one of those.
One of those?
Yeah.
I don't usually say this, but I like Claypool the best out of the bunch.
I agree. I think I saw something where the Ravens might be down every corner this week, or 3/4 of their secondary or something. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the final injury report was, but they had a lot of their DBs on the injury report. So it's actually a sneaky good spot for the Steelers passing game, I think.
Claypool's seen his usage jump the last 2 weeks. He's got, I think, 17 targets the last 2 games. And 82, 93 yards, or maybe it's 92 and 83, something like that. But also, I think what the Ravens are doing, which worked really well for them last week, is just like, you're not going to run the ball. Like, they just completely shut down the running game, but they're vulnerable more in the secondary. I think that's what we're going to do, because it's pretty obvious if you want to slow down the Steelers, you stop Najee Harris and then you force them to pass, because that happened also with the Steelers. The Bengals are like, hey, you're not going to run the ball. Go ahead and try to beat us with the pass. And it didn't work out for them. So I think that's what's going to happen. But a lot of opportunities for Roethlisberger to hit Claypool down the field. So I do like Claypool kind of more than usual this week.
Yes, I agree. Hold on real quick.
Good time for me to put in our little promo here. Guys, if you want to join us on Sunday morning before the game, check out our Patreon page, and we also have some extra content for guys that join. And you can join us also for the Start Sit show, just like this, on Sunday morning, hour and a half before kickoff, all the latest updates. And that's something that you can do at any time. All right. Back to
also, guys, I had to block somebody. Don't ask your question like 50 times in a row. We're getting to as many questions as you can. Just ask it once. We're going through from the top. When we get your question, we will answer it. Don't spam the chat, please. All right, Mr. Crawler XD, Super Chat, what's up? Hawkinson, Fant, Odell, or Devonta Freeman at the flex? Wow. Those are some choices.
I'm going to rule out Odell because we know he's questionable, got that hip, and just a lot of risk there. Devonta Freeman is just, it's just touchdown dependent. So, okay. The first two choices again.
I mean, you can play Hawkinson or Fant.
I might play Hawkinson.
I was going to say Freeman, actually. I think, again, the Steelers' defense is so bad. I think this is a spot where Freeman can find the end zone. Hawkinson, I mean, he scored a touchdown last week, and he still only got you 12 points. Like, he needs, 6, 7 catches, which, he can get it, but he can also get 0, right? It's just that rain. Like, it's so frustrating. He should be dominating. He's their best receiver. He should be dominating, but I think I would just go Freeman. I kind of like him against the Steelers this week.
I mean, the safest, if you're going for the floor, just a floor, then it would be Freeman, because he'll get 40, 50 yards, and that's pretty much it. Thing is, Murray's back now, so he's splitting more carries. But then you're looking at both guys, either you hope for a touchdown or they don't get one, and that's it. Hawkinson has a little higher ceiling, because he has had a couple of games at least where he's gone for big yardage and gets several catches. I think this is a spot he could do it because it's the Vikings we talked about. So I would rather go for the ceiling if both guys are just kind of meh. But if you want to play it safe, I guess go Freeman.
And then pick a duo, a running back duo for the rest of the season. Zeke, Aaron Jones, not Devonta Freeman for the rest of the season. I mean, Jamal Williams and Hubbard. The problem with Jamal, well, Hubbard maybe because, although, man, that schedule in the playoffs is brutal for Hubbard. Jamal, I mean, if Swift was out for the season, I might say Jamal Williams, but Swift could be back next week. So I think you just got to go Zeke and Jones still, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, nobody's loving Zeke these days. What if they shut him down? I don't think they will because the Cowboys still need to win. And it's not like he's, in such pain that it's like hard for him to play, right? He just says it's kind of a pain tolerance thing. Is he the same? No, he's not the same. He could still have decent games. So, yeah, I mean, if we knew more, this could change next week, right? If we knew more clarity on the injury situation for Swift and for Zeke, right now you still go Zeke and Jones.
Yeah. And if, whether you buy into this or not, Jerry Jones came out today and said he expects Zeke to be full go after this now with 10 days rest, and all the doctors and trainers said he's good. So we'll see. But I probably would say Hubbard, but
Jones.
What is Chuba Hubbard plays like New Orleans, the Buccaneers, and some other brutal matchup. I mean, like the three worst. He's the opposite of David Montgomery last year. Like he has to play the three toughest run defenses in a row in the fantasy playoffs. Like I'm not. He's not going to be Mike Davis this year, that's for sure.
And plus, now he's got Cam Newton, who's going to vulture touchdowns and rushing, and that Carolina team is just not what it was. I love how Jerry Jones just says. I like when he says, "I expect him to full go." It's like he's just going to make it happen. It's like the Emperor when he's like, "I expect this battle station to be fully operational by the time I return." Like he's like telling Zeke, like it's like a demand. Like I expect you to be a full go for week 14.
Pretty much. You get 10 days of rest, you better be 100% ready. All right, Jason Olivero of Super Chat, thank you so much. Needs one between Deshaun Jackson, Josh Reynolds, or Darius Slayton. Not Darius Slayton.
No, Deshaun Jackson actually is questionable too. We didn't mention him because he's typically not fantasy relevant unless you're looking for like a streamer or a flyer, but I wouldn't risk it with him because he's either going to catch you 70-yard touchdown or do nothing. And seeing how he's questionable, I wouldn't take the chance.
Yeah, I would just go. I like Reynolds this week, so I would just go with Reynolds. He's got the better floor, and he's got a pretty decent ceiling. All right, Stephen Drake, Super Chat, thank you. Picked up Khalil Herbert and Chase Edmonds off waivers. Yes, I think they're good stashes. Definitely Chase Edmonds because Eno Benjamin did not take his role, that's for sure. So when he comes back, he's got his role for sure. How do we feel about the Scott and Sony situation? Well, we talked about it quite a bit. We don't like Boston Scott tomorrow because it's not looking good for him to play. And even if he does, what's he got?
I love Boston Scott on Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. When I thought he was going to, before he got sick, I'd love Boston Scott. And I think we talked about Sony. I mean, obviously Sony Michelle, if Henderson doesn't play, I think we both agree he's a must start pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
And even if Henderson does, I think he's an okay start. So, all right. Sofo Tatek, boy, I know I butchered that. I apologize. Logan Thomas or Foster Moreau, not Fabian Moreau. Who's Fabian Moreau? Is he like an author or something?
He could be an author. I'm not sure, but he also was a cornerback for.
That's right.
For Washington.
Right. Of course.
That's why you know him. He's for your.
That's why I know him. Yes, Foster Moreau, Logan Thomas or Foster Moreau,
and not related either, by the way. So, in that case, probably Logan Thomas because again, Moreau it's either a touchdown or nothing. Probably he's not going to get targeted a bunch. All the targets from Waller are going to go to Hunter Renfrow. So, I just take a chance on Thomas.
Yeah, I agree. Never had it so good. So he's currently rolling with Mixon, Barkley, and Javonte Williams in the flex, with Kupp and Waddle as his wide receivers. But he's got Metcalf, Hopkins, and Michelle on his bench. Should he change anything?
I'm down on Metcalf. You don't want to replace one of those guys. Hopkins on the bench?
Yeah. Can I start Waddle over Hopkins? That's my question.
Yeah, that's the only thing. But wait, did he say the flex? He had
Javonte in the flex. He had Javonte in the flex. So if you're that low on Barkley, you could bench Barkley. I know that's where you're going. That's where you're going with this. That's where you're going with this. You're like, bench
I'm thinking
Barkley.
about it.
Bench Barkley, get Hopkins in the flex. I mean, I wouldn't hate that. Like, I wouldn't hate that if I wanted to do that.
You could swap Barkley out for Hopkins, right?
Probably. I could probably do that. Yeah, I could probably do that.
No, I mean, Waddle is solid. I mean, and it's the Giants, so I wouldn't take him out. Yeah, I don't think you have to make any moves there. I think you're pretty good. If Hopkins is a full go and Murray is a full go, you could consider swapping out somebody for him. And for me, it would be Barkley. But I don't think you have to make that move. Probably safer just keep it as is.
All right, Alex Stamey, what's up? Thank you, Super Chat. Eagles D or Rams D?
Got to be the Rams D. Look, I know it's the Jets, but still, I mean, the Rams will eat Trevor Lawrence for lunch.
Yeah, and they're a better defense. So definitely Rams D. Lane Kircher, Super Chat, thank you. Needs high upside and full PPR. So saying rank these guys: Miles Sanders, CEH, Mike Williams, DeAndre Hopkins. Needs upside, full PPR.
Sanders is the top of the list.
Yeah, I have Sanders number 1.
Upside for sure. How do we feel about Mike Williams this week? I think this is another down week for him. It's really not a good matchup. Cincinnati's secondary has been really good, believe it or not. So I kind of think I have Mike Williams bottom of that list.
I still have him over CEH for upside. Like, if you're asking me, like, maybe starting, maybe I haven't, but for like, what is CEH's upside at 15 fantasy points if he scores a touchdown? I think I would rank it Sanders, Hopkins, Williams, CEH. If we're just talking upside, not how I would start him, just talking upside.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, the ceiling is probably always going to be higher for Williams, but yeah, no, I'll go with that. I think definitely Hopkins 2, definitely Sanders 1. Yeah, and then we'll do Williams, CEH.
If we're talking upside. All right, we didn't a lot of your questions, Josh. I'm going to skip to somebody we haven't answered yet. Okay, DJ Man 23. Okay, Jay Williams. Here's the problem with Jay Williams this week. I don't know if you mean Javonte or Jamal. There's 2 Jay Williams, and they're both very fantasy relevant this week. Monty or Hollywood Brown need to bench 1. Well, I will say this: I'd probably bench Monty, whether it's Jamal or Javonte.
Yeah, both Williams I would start over Montgomery. I agree with that. And then, yeah, you want to keep Hollywood Brown in there.
Yeah, so dodge the bullet there. But yeah, just remember that, guys. There's Jamal Williams and Javonte Williams. They're both Jay Williams. They're both very fantasy relevant. So if you're asking a question about one of them, put the full name, please. Dribble God. Is that like a basketball reference? Are you like, who was that guy? The and one. You remember the original? Okay, I know we don't have time for this, but remember the original and one mixtape? Did you ever watch that? Who was the guy? It was like really focused on one guy. I forget his name, but he was like, it's the first time I ever saw somebody who could like do that with a basketball. I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. Like, this guy's just, but anyways.
Yeah, I know. I'm it's going to come to me like after we're done.
I think he actually did play in the NBA a little bit. Like as a like a bench warmer type of guy, but still. Bills or Vikings defense?
Bills or Vikings? I would go Bills because I know the Pats don't turn it over a whole lot, but I think there's going to be a low-scoring game. They'll sack Mac Jones a few times. Vikings just,
I mean, it's Detroit, but yeah, I still like the Bills better. Bills are a better defense. Look, Detroit's not going to score many points, but New England doesn't score a lot of points. New England wins, but they win because Nick Folk kicks 5 field goals, not because they score 5 touchdowns. So probably going to be a game where Nick Folk kicks 5 field goals because they move the ball and then they get stopped, right? So, yeah. Hopkins, Zay 26. Hopkins or DK Metcalf? Let's see where you're at here.
Plays it's Hopkins.
Oh, okay, real quick. Yes. Jacob Varela, there you go. Rafer Alston, yes, that's who it was. Skip to my Lou, that's who it was. Yes.
Skip to my Lou.
Skip to my Lou, heck yeah.
Hey, Rafer Alston played for the Heat, I think, for a couple of years.
Yeah, he actually played in the NBA. For all you young bucks on here, go YouTube, Skip to my Lou, Rafer Alston. He was original Ammo mixtape. He was unbelievable. He actually did play, and he could actually ball. It wasn't like these guys. Like, I know the professor could never play in the NBA. I'm sorry, the professor. Stop acting like you can play in the NBA. You're like 5'10". You can't play in the NBA. Skip to my Lou actually played in the NBA. No knock on the professor. He's awesome at what he does, but he can't play in the NBA. All right, anyways, getting way off topic here. And then Joe Burrow or Carson Wentz.
I'm a little bit down on Wentz. I think I mentioned that already. So I'll go Burrow. No, it's not exciting, but at least he might go back and forth and pass it. It's been all mixing lately, but still Burrow does have, the upside to throw 2-3 touchdowns.
All right, then a super chat from, I don't know why this scroll thing is so bad. Sleazy, I guess. Stevenson or Boston Scott?
I feel like we kind of had this question in some form before, but Stevenson, just because we're not sure about Boston Scott's workload.
Okay, we did.
If he plays.
Okay, just got a notification Boston Scott is expected to play.
Oh, he is. But then the question is how much?
Yes, that's the question now.
But if he's cleared today, which we weren't sure, we thought it would be like a game time call, does that give you more confidence that he's going to get at least, adequate workload?
Yeah, I think it does. And against the Jets, probably enough to make me like him more than Stevenson.
Yeah, because Stevenson, neither guy has like tremendous upside. Well, Scott does now that he's going to play. So, yeah. So in this case, if we're sure Scott's playing and they've ruled him active on Saturday, then go with Boston Scott.
And a super chat from Mikey S. James Robinson, Michael Pittman, Javonte Williams, or Higgins. Full flex PPR. Only one of those guys?
Just one?
Dang. All right, so it's between Pittman and Williams, right? It's between one of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, I hate that you have to bench any of those guys. I think you gotta go, man. I don't know, because with Pittman, obviously on the matchup looks great, but what if they just don't need to pass it that much? That's the thing. I don't want to get carried away with a player, but I might go Williams.
I might too. It's hard for me to bench a running back who's probably going to get the bulk of the touches. I love Pittman. I think he's got a great matchup, but he still only gets, 5 or 6 targets. It's not like he gets 10 targets. He's not, so I would hate to have to bench Pittman. It'd be terrible, but I think I'd have to go Williams. And then super chat from Bill Sarah. Thank you. He's got a defense question. Miami, Indy, Arizona, or Minnesota?
Minnesota. Arizona's okay. I got Miami as the number one because Glennon back there, he's going to take some sacks. They have no receivers still. That defense has been on fire lately. They really have. So I'm going Miami.
I agree. They look like the Miami that everybody drafted way too early this year and then went back and picked up off waivers. Because that's what happens when you draft defenses early. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Paste Race. Some interesting names here. Oh, wait. I don't know what his question's for. Let's see. Okay. All right. Patrick Garcia.
Sorry, I was going to say, while you're looking for a question, we're almost to the lightning round phase because we want to try to get to as many questions as possible. I know you guys still have some queue always backed up here. Quick reminder, you can join Patreon, and that way you guarantee to get a full session with us on Sunday mornings, or jump in the super chat. Always give as much detail as possible, guys. That'll help us answer your question and not get skipped if you don't give us full names or tell us if it's PPR or what, all the details. The more detail, the better.
Yes. All right. So let's go. Sorry. Why isn't that sending? All right. Let's go rapid fire. Standard scoring. Patrick Garcia, standard scoring. Choose one for the flex. Miles Sanders, Sony Michelle, Chase Claypool, Mark Andrews, or T. Higgins?
Standard scoring. You got to go Miles Sanders.
Yeah, you got to go Miles Sanders. I agree. Matt Wingo, 89. Devonta Parker, Rashad Bateman, or Van Jefferson, standard scoring?
In that case, I go Van Jefferson. Not trusting Parker. Jefferson in a good spot. Should be the number 2 receiver. If Beckham doesn't play or is limited, even better.
I agree. Matty D, Najee, Gibson, Javonte Williams, or Madison. Bench one of those guys.
I was getting scared. I thought you were going to say start one. Okay, bench one? That's still hard. Man, Madison's a must start. Javonte's a must start. Gibson, and who else? Najee?
Yeah.
Am I really going to say bench Najee? I think I am.
I know I have Najee as a bust, but I can't bench him over Javonte. I love Javonte this week, but we are going by what we are expecting to happen and what we hope will happen with Javonte. We don't know that he's going to just inherit this huge workload. He should, but we don't know that. At least Najee, we know he's going to get all the carries and he's going to get 5 or plus receptions. So I know I have him as a bust, but I don't know if I could do it for Javonte. Like, I don't know if I could do it. That's me. All right, we're going rapid fire here. So what just happened? Why did it just? Oh, okay. All right. PPR: Alex Collins or Rex Burkhead. Yeah, you are in desperation mode, Alex Watts.
Alex Collins? No, can't do it. And we're hearing words. Some of the Seattle running backs, other than Collins, might come back. Not that it matters, but oh man, like, there's anybody on waivers? Is there somebody you can pick up? I guess Burkhead.
Yeah, especially if David Johnson sits, at least you know he's going to get the touches. Alex Collins, they just went and signed Adrian Peterson and already activated him to the roster. Like,
oh, that's right.
Alex Collins is done. Do it 420, sit 1.5 PPR between. What this thing? All right, this thing literally just cut off your question right when I was about to read it. I don't understand. Why does YouTube do this? See, I think this is the problem when we get spammed with questions. YouTube literally cuts off questions. So I'm sorry. If you want to ask it again, go for it. I don't know what's going on. YouTube is like cutting off questions. We did that one. The Chosen Rose. You guys are so good with kickers. Not us guys, Pierre. I don't do kickers. Nick Folk or Robbie Gould? Come on, even I know it's Nick Folk. Even I know that. You can't bench
Number
Nick
one
Folk.
kicker, you got to do it, especially this matchup. They're not going to be scoring touchdowns. You got to go Nick Folk. Ride Nick Folk to the championship.
Yeah. He's like this year's Young Wei Koo or whatever his name is. Let's see. Alex Watts, Galladay, or Reynolds. I think we did that. Reynolds, right?
Reynolds.
Woo Kim, Dawson Knox, or Kyle Pitts?
Pitts.
Yep. Colby Colston, Ayuk or Lockett?
Ooh, now that's interesting. I'll go with Ayuk.
I like Ayuk too. The Chosen Rose, Arizona defense or the Patriots?
Arizona.
I agree. Ed Tay, Odell, Deshaun Jackson, or Bateman?
Or Bateman?
Yeah.
I mean, with Odell, it's all risk and reward, right? Either he doesn't play or he's limited, does nothing. But it's Jacksonville, and if he's good enough to play, he could make a big play. Let's go with Bateman. It's a safer pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bateman. I like him against Steelers. Tyrone Jenkins, Wentz, Russell Wilson, or Carr needs 2 of those. So basically, who don't you play between Wentz, Wilson, or Carr?
I think it's got to be Russell Wilson, honestly.
Oof. I think Carr's the one I feel.
You got to see it. That offense is bad, and it's not just one thing or one matchup. There's a lot of issues.
I will say Carr's the one I feel the best about in that group.
Yeah.
And then, maybe Wentz. It is Houston. So
it's Houston.
All right, Khalil, Siegel, Cordell Patterson, Josh Jacobs, Darnell Mooney, Van Jefferson, pick 2. Well, Patterson's a must. Kind of like Mooney.
Banged up. He would be in a good spot, but he's banged up, so we don't know how much work he's going to get. Mooney, he's the number 1 receiver there with Allen Robinson. We saw what he did, and they should pass a lot, but it's not a great matchup. And then what was the last one? Van Jefferson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wish they would just rule OBJ out. I'll go with Van Jefferson.
And then Bill Sarah said 75% chance of snow, 40-mile-an-hour winds, Buffalo, New York. Yeah, they always say that, and then the game comes, and it's never that bad. and the kickers make the kicks. Like
they can still kick in snow. This is the Patriots kicker. Like he knows.
What was that game? There was like
been around.
There was that game earlier this year. It might have been a Steelers game. It was like a Sunday night game. Or no, it was some game. It was like Packers and somebody. Like, oh, it's gonna be snowing the whole game. And it didn't start snowing until the fourth quarter. And kickers were making all these kicks. And then everybody freaked out and benched these good kickers or whatever it was. I remember they benched these good kickers and made all these kicks. Like, just start Nick Folk. It's a kicker. It's a kicker. Like, maybe he won't give you 20 this week. We'll probably give you 10. Like, what do you want? It's a kicker. It doesn't even matter. Unless he gives you 20, then it matters. All right. Scott Nifsud. Boston Scott or Tevin Coleman?
Boston Scott.
Tevin Coleman, 16 carries and 2 catches last week.
Yeah, but how many yards?
Jimmy G or Minshew?
Jimmy G.
I agree, Jimmy G. I'm actually playing Jimmy G in our endgame league where I had to pick up a quarterback because Taysom Hill is on my bench for 24 points. That hurt. And I have Jalen Hurts. Thought he would play this week. Let's see. Sean Parsons. Okay, here we go. Tevin Coleman, Boston Scott, Ty Johnson, or Sony Michelle?
One?
Yes.
Boston Scott.
Yeah, I agree. I
just want to avoid that Jets backfield.
I was thinking more Michelle because I do really think that even if Henderson plays, it's going to be very, very limited. But
well, it's that's the thing. If Henderson is out, it's Michelle. But.
Yeah. I have met Trench Road. I have Metcalf and Lockett on my team. How screwed am I? 9-3. I think you're going to be okay. I think they'll get it together here quickly. I really do. Claypool or Tevin Coleman full PPR? Oh, come on, it's Claypool, right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. All right, this is an interesting one from Josh. Pick 2, Hunter Renfrow, Brandon Ayuk, Javonte Williams. Let's see how high you are on Hunter Renfrow.
And well, you said full PPR.
Doesn't say, but I'm going to assume.
If it's full PPR, yeah, I'm keeping Renfrow in the lineup over Ayuk, and I go Javonte.
I mean, Javonte for sure for me too. It's just close between Hunter and Ayuk.
Yeah,
and I guess Waller being out does help, but Debo being out also helps. But it is a football team. Maybe I do go Renfrow, but that's actually really tough for me. That was really tough for me. Renfrow is just a guy I know I should fix. He's just a guy I always hate playing because it's like, yeah, okay, he's going to get you 7 catches and he's going to get you 70 yards and you're like nice 14, 15 points, but that's probably all you're going to get. So just a guy I'm like,
that was the case until the last couple of weeks. Last week he had 134 yards and he's been catching touchdowns lately. So he used to be that guy, right? You're like, whatever. He's like discount Cole Beasley, but now he's like ramped it up. And with Waller out, money.
All right. Let's see. Well, we got a lot of Van Jefferson questions. TP, Van Jefferson, Judy, or AJ Green?
I'm still not interested in AJ Green. I mean, I get maybe if Hopkins doesn't play, but they got Rondell Moore, they got Christian Kirk, they can run the ball. I'm not going with AJ Green.
So Van Jefferson, right?
Yeah.
Okay. T.Y. Hill. Wow, now we're getting a lot of Tevin Coleman questions. Did I miss something? Did every Jets running back get ruled out? T.Y. Hilton or Tevin Coleman?
T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah. Hawkinson or Goddard?
Hawkinson.
I agree. All right, here we go. CEH or Boston Scott? I think we did that one, but that was when we thought Boston Scott was sick and not going to play. Now we think he's going to play. How do we feel about it?
Yeah, but I don't know if I would play him over CEH.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I go CEH.
All right, another super chat from Evan Harrison. Monty or Josh Jacobs?
It's tough because I would have said Jacobs. This whole injury, being limited, and let me see if we have any updates on him because he's questionable. think he's probably going to play, but that's just the worry for me. It's his ankle. That obviously is problematic for a running back, and it's a new injury. It's not something that, we saw him suffer. I think if he plays, I would go Jacobs.
Yeah, I think I still gotta go Jacobs. He's actually catching passes now, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then Gage or Parker in PPR.
Gage. I guess I'll go Gage.
Oh man. I think I would just take a chance with Parker. Like that. It's like you just never know what outside of Cordell Patterson, you just never know what Falcons wide receiver is going to get the ball, or if any of them will get the ball. Honestly,
like the floor is non-existent, right? It's like a bottomless pit. There is no floor. But we've seen Gage gets pretty involved. He's got several catches in most of the last few games. They're going to have to pass the ball a lot against Tampa, so. I never trust Devontae Parker to make it through the game, much less have a big game.
That is a risk. Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow?
Herbert.
Definitely Herbert. I thought Jerry Judy was good in the beginning of the year. He's available for me. Do I pick him up? I don't think you need to pick him up. He is good, but this offense, maybe this week they'll have to throw the ball, but
who is it?
Jerry Judy.
Judy?
I don't think he's a must add.
No, we talked about him. I think it was last week. Just kind of feel bad for him. Stuck in an offense where he's not getting used enough. I mean, he's a talented player, but you already know what you're going to get with Teddy Bridgewater, right? It's not going to be a lot of volume, even in a game where they might need to pass a lot. So
30 passes.
Maybe
they need to air it out, so it's 30 throws instead of 22 or something. Yeah, like you don't need.
He's like a okay to get by a bye week or injury filler at the flex, because he'll get you a few points.
But we only have
he'll get you.
We only have this week and next week, and then the buys are done. So yeah, I don't unless you're desperate and need him one of these next 2 weeks, then no, pick him up. Pick 3: T. Higgins, Devonta Smith, Waddle, Miles Sanders, or Najee Harris. I know you might disagree, but I'm gonna go last 3. I know you might pick somebody else over Najee. I'm gonna go last 3. Even though I did have Najee as a bust, I just can't. It's too hard for me to sit every time.
No, I know. I don't have him as a must bench either. I'm not saying like you have to sit Najee Harris is gonna suck, but he did nothing last week. But let's see. Okay, so we need 3 out of those 5.
Yeah, to me, Waddle and Sanders for sure.
Sanders, you have to. The upside is just too much. Waddle, yes. And then who else we got? We got Harris.
Higgins, Devonta Smith, or Najee.
In that case, I'll say Devonta Smith. Higgins is okay this week. Not great. He's more like a wide receiver 3. So, yeah, I'll agree. I'll put Harris in the lineup.
Elijah Mitchell or Barkley?
Mitchell.
I agree. Sit one between Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and DK Metcalf.
Sit one?
Yes.
Okay, so who do I go against more? Well, you know what? I'll sit Chase because at least there's a chance that Metcalf has the comeback game, right? I'm not ruling it out.
Yeah, I agree. Wow. Here we go. Matt Breida, Boston Scott, or James O'Shaughnessy in the flex.
Yes, James O'Shaughnessy, but no, not James O'Shaughnessy. We're picking one of those.
Yes.
Then I go Breida.
Even over Scott? I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, I kind of like Breida's chances of being involved. He's been catching passes. Has always a chance to score a touchdown.
I wish Boston Scott practiced all week. That's really messing me up here. All right, we got some super chats that came in real quick. Let's get through those. EB, thank you so much. Should I flex James Robinson or Waddle in standard scoring?
In standard, obviously that Waddle's one of those guys that hurts a lot, but I'm still going to go Waddle. We've seen now he can get the yardage. He's been scoring touchdowns recently. Dolphins are looking like a decent NFL team. I'm down on Robinson. I mean, he needs, without a touchdown, he's getting you very little this week.
Yeah, I still go Waddle, even in standard. Soldier of Science, Super chat, thank you. Pick my flex, Devontae Parker, Christian Kirk, or Sony Michelle. Obviously, Michelle if Henderson is out. Let's assume Henderson plays.
Yeah.
Then do you go
if
Parker, Kirk?
Henderson's out, it's definitely Michelle. I'm kind of leaning on Michelle anyways. Maybe.
Yeah, I still might, honestly. I agree. I was going to say that because, like I said, I think Henderson's going to be very limited even if he plays. So we still may see a decent amount of Michelle. Don't really like those other guys, especially if Hopkins back. That hurts Kirk. Super chat from Fam First. Pick 2 wide receivers, McLaurin, Bateman, or Brandon Cooks.
Gotta be McLaurin, right? You gotta start him.
Yeah.
So I would say Cooks normally. He's questionable going in. I think he'll be fine. So unless we hear something bad about him, tomorrow morning, bad news, we'll probably go Cooks.
I agree. McLaurin and Cooks. Even though I love Bateman, I can't start him over those guys. Tyler Foley, super chat, Bateman or Sutton?
We would like Bateman. It's in crowded receiver room though. Suddenly with those guys back healthy, I might take the chance on Sutton having a big game just because they'll need to pass the ball. I know he's been down bad lately, but he's not a bad receiver. I think the game script could work in his favor. With Bateman, he's solid, but the ceiling just isn't quite there yet. So I'd rather just take the chance on Sutton.
I am playing Sutton in a couple spots where I have to. I don't feel great about it. I wish I had Bateman. I'd rather play Bateman. I'm going Bateman. I'd rather. This is one of those where I'd rather. I'm normally a ceiling guy, but in this case, just give me my 12 to 15 points, and don't maybe sit there and watch 4 quarters of football on my phone where Cortland Sutton has 1 catch for 5 yards. I'm just staring at 1.5 points for 3 hours. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I know you were so high on Sutton early in the season, and that offense has sunk him. I don't know if I knew Bateman was going to get 12, 15 points, then yeah, I'd say for sure. But I just don't know.
He did that every week. He did that. He's done that every week prior to last week. But Lamar Jackson threw 4 interceptions. Nobody other than Mark Andrews catching that ridiculous touchdown that ridiculous throw where like it should have been an interception, and then the ridiculous touchdown where they didn't even cover him. Nobody did anything because if Lamar Jackson threw 4 interceptions, you can't do anything when your quarterback turns it over 4 times. That's not going to happen this week. So I think Bateman will. I think he's like 12 points. He can get you 12. Sutton gets you 25, but he gets you like 1.5. It's like a huge range of outcomes. All right, let's do a couple more real quick. Start 2. Hollywood, Evans, or Montgomery?
First 2.
I agree. And then let's end with this one. TB12 Goatman. Your name is TB12 Goatman. You're asking a QB question. And you're not even asking about TB12? What's up with that? Russ, Tua, or Carr?
If you're picking one out of those 3, I'm going to go with Carr this week. It's the football team. They're going to probably, especially Jacobs limited, if he's questionable, going in like Carr.
I agree. I like Carr too. Like I said, I picked him up in my home league where I have Hurts, and for some reason, everybody in my home league has 2 QBs, so I had to pick up Derek Carr. But I do like him this week against football teams. So, all right, guys, got to get going. Appreciate you all. Any last words, Pierre, before we go?
Keep winning, guys. Hopefully, we're helping you out. I know we get a lot of good news in our Discord from the users saying that they're heading into the playoffs. Get ready for the playoffs. That's what we want to hear. Hopefully, this helps. We're in the same boat trying to prep our teams and win it out. But again, we do this because we want to help you win. A lot of ways that we can do that besides the videos, of course. Watch our videos each and every week. If you haven't subscribed, I'm not sure what you're waiting for at this point, but also, again, consider the Patreon. That's the way we can help you even more, provide more content for you. And then join us too at Underdog, because we're doing contests all the time there. Drafts, I mentioned this, the pick'ems. It's just fun. It's a fun way to do besides season long, especially maybe you're not doing too great or you're about to be out of the playoffs once you're bounced in your season long league. This is a way you can still make weekly picks and get in on the action. And we talk about all these players too. So that way the action never stops. But that's it, guys. Good luck. And hopefully we'll see some of y'all in the Discord.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, we didn't get to your question. Check the link below to the Discord. Go in there, ask a question. We're in there all week answering questions. Also, guys, we have a goal. We had a goal this year of 10,000 subscribers. We're going to be cutting it close. So if we helped you out and you're not subscribed yet, that's a great way to support us. Just hit that subscribe button. Help us get to that 10K by the end of the year. We'd really appreciate it. All right, guys.
If you already are a subscriber, then tell your friends, tell your family,
tell people,
your dog groomer, tell everybody that's subscribed to us, because that helps, and that helps us grow. And so we can offer even more to you guys.
Exactly. All right, guys. Good luck tomorrow, everybody. Hopefully you're all still alive after this.